So my paper's starting to look awesome. My paper's starting to look really great. I've got a nice table of contents. I've got a nice title page. I've got different sections. So if this was a real paper, I would throw in, of course, mini sections. So it looked like, hey, you've really done a lot of cool stuff in this paper. And I've got different formatting. I've got portrait and I've got landscape. The next thing I need to do, of course, as with any paper, and I'm going to teach you an amazing trick here in a moment for writing papers, because when I was in grad school, I used to have to write massive papers, 10, 20, 30 pages, maybe even 50. I don't know. I don't remember 50, but I certainly remember 20, 30-page papers. And I'd write them like in a day. How would you write a paper in a day? I'm going to teach you how. How would you write a 20, 30-page paper in one day? I'm going to teach you how in just a moment. It's super easy. All right. So what we're going to learn here, though, is how to insert references. And here's what's important to know about. There's this thing called plagiarism. And plagiarism is bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's B-A-D. B-A-D, bad. And why is plagiarism bad? Because it's kind of like academic, whatever. Academic, the word's escaping me. Anathema. Academic anathema. What is anathema? I don't know. Let's define it. Anathema, something or someone that one vehemently dislikes, a formal curse by a pope or a council of the church, excommunicating a person or denouncing a doctrine. So it's, academic anathema. It's something that academics hate, is plagiarism, right? How do we say that word? I'm not even sure. Let's check it out. Is my volume up? Yeah, maybe a little bit too loud. Let's try anathema. Anathema. I like anathema better, but it's anathema. And what is plagiarism? There we go. Plagiarism is, I want Google to define it, man. What? Plagiarism is basically you take somebody else's work and you represent it as your own. So if I was to say, if I was to either imply to you that, I love writing poetry, two roads diverged by a wood, and though they both equally lay, two roads diverged by a wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down each as far as I could, until they bent into the undergrowth. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden back. Though I kept the first for day, I often wondered how way led to way, though I doubted I would ever go back. I don't know. That's Robert Frost. But if I kind of was like, I love writing poetry, and then I said that poem, it'd be like, oh, he must have written that. And that would be plagiarism. That would be academic anathema, right? It would be academic anathema. And anytime you represent somebody else's work as your own, bad, 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 bad. You could get kicked out of school for it if you are in school. So how do we get around that? How do we get around that? And the way we get around that is we just have to cite our references, right? So whenever we use something somebody else said, we just have to say somebody else said this and say who said it. All right. And while we're on the subject of poetry, I'm going to bring up Rumi, one of my favorite poets, and then also Hafiz, another one of my favorite poets, and then also, oh, you spell it with an E. I never knew that. I always thought it was I-Z. Well, some people say I-Z. Oh, that makes sense. And then there's also Billy Collins, right, which is another amazing poet. And then what else? Who else is it? What is an amazing poem? What are other amazing poems that I really like? There's this great poem about somebody. It's like if you love dogs and you lose a dog and you read this poem, you'll just lose it, man. I'll find it and bring it back. I might have to pause the video. Okay, so I'm going to show you those poets at the end. And a little poetry reading, which is awesome. Poetry's awesome. Anything well said. I had an English teacher in high school who said, I've always been moved. I asked her, why did you become an English teacher? And she said, I've always been moved by the power of the written word. And that stuck with me. And my dad is like a writer, and so that kind of just came down, this love of words. But I don't know if I really love words, though I like writing, and I love it when things are really well said. So I guess I do love words. It's sometimes hard to discern, to sort out, right? Like, what is it that I love versus what is it that's just the conditioning I got from my parents? That's sometimes hard. All right, so we're going to learn how to insert references and learn how to write really long papers really quickly. So this is how you insert references. You just click anywhere in your document that you have a reference. So here's my reference. Let's say somebody else said this, right? There we go. Somebody said that, so I put quotes around it to indicate that somebody said it. I go to references. ah, this is awesome. You're going to love this. I choose insert citation, add new source, right? And then I just choose, was it a book? Was it a book section? Was it a journal article? Was it an article in a periodical? Was it a conference proceedings? Was it a website? Right? I just choose what kind of a resource it was. So I'm going to say it's a website. It was by Bob Jones. And the name of the web page was www.bobjones.com. And the name of the web page, the name of the website, we'll just put that there too. And the year was 2013, and the month was August. No, it's September. Maybe I should be like 2018, so these lectures will look current in 5 years. And the day was the 18th, and the URL, oh, we'll just put that there again. And I hit OK. And so there's my resource. Let's say, what if I put this in here? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Hell yeah, it does. Insert citation, add new source. This is a book, and the author is Stephen King. And the title is The Shining. And you better believe it. And if you ain't seen it, you need to go watch it because it's the best horror movie ever. Or no, one of the best. Alien is the best horror movie ever. Alien without the S. If you haven't watched that, like, dude, I'm a grown man, and I was watching that like 6 years ago, and I was like, I want somebody to watch it with me. It's a really good movie. And the year is like 1975 or something, and the city is Bangor, and the publisher is, I don't know, Mifflin or something. There we go. I'm just making it up. And so there is my reference for that. I put it in the wrong spot, so can I just highlight that and drag it? Hell yeah, I can. All right, so now I've got two references. And let's say, oh, here's another one by, again, Stephen King. So I just click it, and it puts the reference in. And then here's another one, and this one is by somebody else, right? And so I could come in here and insert another citation, add new source, and let's say that this is a journal article. Whoops, do we have magazine? I guess we just stick with a journal article for magazine. And the author is Mick Howla. There we go. And the title is What You Need to Know. And the journal name is Popular Things. And the year is 2022. Awesome. And the page is 18 through 490. I really read a lot. There we go. And so there's that one. Ah, dang, I put it in the wrong place again. Drag it, drop it right there. All right, cool. So I could keep adding resources here also anytime I need to, like, there we go. That was that guy again. That was his whole paragraph, and this was this one again here, right? And then what if my teacher was like, no, it needs to be MLA. Oh, okay, there. And now it's formatted MLA. Oh, APA, watch, APA. And now it's formatted APA. Like, how cool is that? You no longer have to learn how to format it. And then I go to the very end of my document. I go to page layout. I go to breaks. So right now I'm at the end of the document. I go to page layout. I go to breaks. I choose section break. Next page. I got a blank page at the end of my document. I go to references. I choose to insert a bibliography right there. Bibliography. And I can call it bibliography references works cited. Works cited sounds really kind of cool. I'm going to choose works cited. And there we are in APA formatted all the works that were cited in this document. And I can also go to, oh, it needs to be MLA. There we go. That's MLA, right? Oh, it needs to be APA or Chicago. There, that's Chicago. Oh, APA. Okay, there's APA. Like, it's totally easy, totally easy. So that's a really important thing to know is how to insert references in your document. Now, if we look at our document, it's really looking good, man. We got the title page, table of contents, different styles for heading one, different layout for different sections, and we have this works cited down here. So we're writing an awesome paper. And what else was I going to show you about this? I was going to show you how to write a paper really quickly. So how do you write a paper really quickly? You have to do research. And you can do research by online resources like at libraries. So at our school, Fresno City College, we have quick link to library. Really? No quick link for library? Bookstore? Nothing. All right, so I'm just gonna, library. Okay, there we go. I'm going to library. And then we have research databases. And we go to the research databases, and I could go to like EBSCO, which is a good one. There we go, ebooks on EBSCO. And academic search premier EBSCO, bam. And what's it say? It says enter your student ID for your username and password. So I enter my student ID, don't watch. And now I can search for an article on whatever I want to write about. And what would I want to write about? I'd want to write about mindfulness. And I'd also want to write about education, mindfulness in education. And I want that to be in the title. I want that to be in the title. And I only want to find articles with text. Also search them full text. The full text. Limit your results. Full text. And I want document type to be article. All right, so I think I'm ready to search. I'm going to click this search down here just in case I need to hit this one right here to get these options, and this one's just for those options. So I'm going to click this one here. Sometimes it's laid out that way. And here are full text of articles on mindfulness in education, right? So relational mindfulness in education, mindfulness in higher education. So this is this thing I've been teaching you guys, and in class particularly, but also at the beginning of this lecture series, we had a point on staying focused, right? And here's all the research that talks about the importance of mindfulness and how useful it is to pay attention to that and develop the ability to focus and stay on point. So I could start selecting these articles and I could read them. And one of the quick ways you could do it here is you could add them to folder, add to folder, add to folder, add to folder, add to folder. And then when you go up here to your folder, right here, folder as items, I've got those articles in the folder and I could select all. And then I could email them to myself, and it's going to email me all those articles. And then I could open them up and I could work with them. So mindfulness PDF full text, I'm going to click that. And sometimes I've been able to copy from PDFs. Sometimes I haven't been able to copy. I might try this if I was actually writing a paper. I might try this in a web browser, different web browser. So Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Safari. And but let's just see if I could highlight this. Control C. And I'm going to go to Notepad first, Control V, yay, Control A, Control C, Control A, select all, Control C, copy, and then go back to my Word document. And so if I'm writing a paper, this is how you write a paper really fast, right? So, of course you have to have some little introduction that talks about the material, but then this is all you do when you're writing a paper. I'll just go to the end here as if I'm adding on to it. You just write transitions. This is how you write long articles. You write transitions. Let me just make sure I'm in the right place. And give one more there. There we go. And it'd be like, in another interesting article, it was pointed out that, quote, Control V, right? And then I could look at this and I could see, okay, I got to take out these things here. Kabang, 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 kabang. I'm deleting. All right, click in front, hit delete, click in front, hit delete. All right, and then quotes, I think that's the end. There we go. And then I could go back to my article here, Alt-Tab back to my article, and I could find the source there. And, I could highlight this and then put in my reference. References, insert citation, add new source, and this is a journal article, and the title is, the journal name is Contemporary Buddhism, and then we could do, that for the pages, and this is the year. And I guess they don't want that, and the title of the article is and the author is. Okay, right? And now, let's get rid of that. There we go. I've got my source. So it's not plagiarizing, right? It's not plagiarizing because I quoted this person. I put that there. And then I could just go back to this paper, and I could say, or I could get a different paper. And I could say, okay, what about this one? And I could, just find, see, methodological orientation, emerging findings. That sounds like it'd be an interesting thing to include in my paper. I'll just grab all of that Alt Tab. And here I'm going to go to Home and choose Paste, Paste Special, Unformatted Text. I could try that. I'm just going to actually go Control V, and it's just came in funny looking. So I'll do Paste, Paste Special, Unformatted Text. And then I'd have to remove all those returns. And then at the end, you know, I'd write my transition. Really writing papers kind of I became good at writing transition. And yet one more journal article, it was reported that, comma, quotes, right? And then take out all those returns and quotes. And then here I'd add another source. So I'd actually insert new source, but let's just pretend I've already done that and it's this one here or whatever. You know, and that's how you write papers really, 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 really quickly. Really long papers really quickly. And, you know, you just write transitions. And so if you have a really good looking paper and you have transitions, let the teacher figure it out if it makes any sense. You know, obviously you try to find quotes, you know, that make sense, but you could say one person has this perspective and another person has this perspective. Interestingly, a third person has this perspective. We can see there are contrasting perspectives, and yet one more person provided this point of view. And you just have all these transitions between all these different quotes, and it looks like you did a bunch of research from a bunch of different articles. And, you know, you just found quotes that you liked in different articles and you threw them in. And don't worry too much about what you're saying. Just make sure it looks good and you know, it's got nice form. And it looks like, wow, this paper looks professional. A lot of different articles cited, read a lot of articles, you know, a lot of transitions. And it is kind of like, there is sort of like all these varying opinions and perspectives. And you just say that in your conclusion. In conclusion, there are a bunch of varying perspectives. That's the way the whole world is. There's always varying perspectives. So that's how you write a really long article really fast. I'm going to delete this last citation here because, you know, I didn't break out get rid of the returns, and so I want our paper to still look good. All right, so that is writing, that is inserting references and using quotes and avoiding plagiarism. And now finally to share with you some awesome poetry, right? Awesome poetry. So Billy Collins has this one about neighbor's dog, right, which is a really great poem. Another reason why I don't keep a gun in the house by Billy Collins. The neighbor's dog will not stop barking. By the way, you can stop the video here if you don't want to hear poetry because we're done with Microsoft Word for this video. There's going to be more in the next video, but this is all poetry from here on out to the end of the video. So if you want to hear the poem, listen up. Another reason why I don't keep a gun in the house. The neighbor's dog will not stop barking. He's barking the same high rhythmic bark that he barks every time they leave the house. They must switch him on their way out. The neighbor's dog will not stop barking. I close all the windows in the house and put on Beethoven's symphony full blast, but I can still hear him muffled under the music. Barking, barking, barking. And now I can see him sitting in the orchestra, his head raised confidently as if Beethoven had included a part for a barking dog. When the record finally ends, he is still barking, sitting there in the oboe section, barking, his eyes fixed on the conductor, who is entreating him with his baton, while the other musicians listen in respectful silence to the famous barking dog solo, that endless coda that first established Beethoven as an innovative genius. That's a pretty dang funny poem. All right, what about Hafiz? Search for Hafiz poem. Love, moon, language, loneliness. Let's go with love. Hafiz, the gift, the gift. No, not quickly accessed. Signing me into Goodreads. For a day, just for one day, talk about that which disturbs no one and bring some peace into your beautiful eyes. These are all Hafiz quotes. For I have learned that every heart will get what it prays for most. I caught the happy virus last night when I was out singing beneath the stars. It is remarkably contagious, so kiss me. It happens all the time in heaven, and someday it will begin to happen again on earth. That men and women who are married, and men who are lovers, and women who give each other light, often will get down on their knees, and while so tenderly holding their lover's hand with tears in their eyes, will sincerely speak, saying, "My dear, how can I be more loving to you? How can I be more kind?" Wow, it almost makes me cry. That's totally sweet. I'd probably cry if I wasn't on video. I am crying a little. And Rumi poems. Rumi's awesome too, man. poems, Rumi poems. Let's just see what we come up with here. Rumi, this is a community of spirit. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. There is a way between voice and presence where information flows. It is disciplined silence. In disciplined silence, it opens. With wondering talk, it closes. For a while we lived with people, but we saw no sign in them of the faithfulness we wanted. It's better to hide completely within as water hides in metal, as fire hides in rock. Yeah, Rumi's awesome. And finally, what was that poem I was going to also try to find, which is about a dog? In My Good Death. In My Good Death. This is the name of the poem. In my good death, I will find myself waist deep in high summer grass, the humming shock of the golden light, and I will hear them before I see them, and know right away who is bounding across the field to meet me. All my good dogs will come then, their wet noses bumping against my palms, their hot panting, their rough, faithful tongues, their eyes young and shiny again, the wiry scruff of their fur, the unspeakable softness of their bellies, their velvet ears against my cheeks. I will bend to them, my face covered with their kisses, my hands full of them. In the grass, I will let them knock me down. It's an awesome poem. In My Good Death by Dahlia Shevin.